Hello there, everybody. How you doing? Here we are today to talk a little bit more about Stephen and Brendan, of course. But I'm going to start out talking about what's going on and what's going on right now with Stephen's case. It just I realize out there there's just seems to be a lot of confusion. Some people don't understand, like they don't fully understand like some of KZ's tweets and things like that. So I'm hoping to kind of try to clear some of that up. She made a recent tweet about the fact that they're building a mountain for the on the appellate record and stuff, and people took that to mean like she was going to be, and they were coming up with new things to put into the appellate record or whatever, and people took that to mean like she was looking for new things to put into the what she's doing right now in the circuit court. So I'm going to talk about the process again, and then kind of explain it again and hopefully help people to kind of understand. It's complicated. I get it. It really is. The legal system's fairly complicated. But hopefully I'm going to be able to kind of explain it again here, and hopefully maybe people can get a better understanding of it. Because I was on Facebook when I got home real quick, and I don't know, it was about an hour. And I was looking around and like went over to Tracy's group and just saw that there was a lot of that question was just coming up again and again, and people just seemed to have, they were just not, they didn't seem to understand what KZ meant by her tweets, and they were misunderstanding it, and so it was getting kind of, let's see here. Good afternoon, evening, everyone. Hey, y'all. How is the tumbleweed lady? Okay. Crazy. Oh, okay. So, and then I'm gonna go ahead and talk about this once again. What's going on in Stephen's case right now again, and then hopefully to try to clear up some more of the confusion. So, I think one of the best ways to help people understand what's going on right now with this remand back to the circuit court for potential fact finding is that this is not the first time this has happened. Okay, so let's rewind back in time before the state handed over the CD that was in Tom Fassbender's personal custody for 12 years. Okay, before the state handed that over, Kathleen Zellner had a post-conviction motion, and it had been denied by Judge Suckett, and she was now taking that motion for post-conviction relief and taking it to the appeals court to appeal whether or not Judge Suckett made the right decision or gave it due consideration or whatever. She's going to raise many issues, I'm sure. So that's what she was coming in with, a large record already, essentially appellate record, right? That is what it contained all of her arguments, all of her testing that she had done, everything. It's all there, all of her expert affidavits, all of it's all there in that motion. Okay, all of that work is there. It's sitting with the appeals court. Okay, then the CD gets turned over. Okay, now you got to look at the CD getting turned over to Zellner is a bit like when Zellner realized that the final pages of CASO and the updated ledgers were never given to Stephen's attorneys, and they were never asked whether or not those bones could be given back. The moment she realizes that, it's kind of like the same moment when they handed over the CD. All right, they're kind of similar in the sense that those are the things that set the whole events off, right? So state hands over the CD. Zellner gets the CD and goes, holy crap, this would have told Dean and Jerry exactly what was on the computer. It would have proven that King Kratz was a liar when he said there was nothing of any evidentiary value or of any kind of value or whatever, right? It would have proven that was a lie. This CD was completely, hidden for a reason. And so she ends up filing a motion with the appellate court. The appellate court remands it back to the circuit court, just like what's happening now. Okay, just like what's happening now with the bones. It gets remanded back to the circuit court. So it goes back to Judge Suck at this, right? The CD. So Zellner files a motion regarding the CD, saying it's a Brady violation and and on, right? She makes her arguments. And then Judge Suck at this denies it again, right? So now that issue goes back and becomes part of the appellate record. So you understand what she means by the appellate record grows? Yes. Every time Judge Suck at this denies one of these remands, the appellate record grows. It gets more things on it, and it becomes more of a mountain as she's describing it. So I'm hoping to clear this up so that people can understand in like what she's saying when she says these things, right? So the CD gets, that whole deal gets denied by Judge Suck at this. It goes back. It becomes part of the appellate record. Then the appellate record goes, moves on. And then that's when Kathleen Zellner was going to file her brief. But then she found out that the California wildfires that happened in late November, she found out that there was a forensic scientist, a guy who was doing DNA testing on bones and identifying people in the California wildfires. He was identifying, cremains, or, basically burnt remains. And he was identifying them with bones with this quick DNA testing method. So she filed a motion to, saying she'd like to remand it and she'd like to test these bones to find out if they're Teresa's or whatever, right? Well, we know what happened with that. Basically, the Court of Appeals just said, no, you know what? This isn't, this can be taken up later, which is good. That's why it's good that Kathleen Zellner said something right then, because the wildfires happened in November. So she spoke up immediately and said something. And then you get the Court of Appeals weighing in on it, right? Saying, okay, no, you can't bring this right now, but there's nothing to bar you from bringing it at a later time. And now you have the actual court, you have their, writing, right? Saying that she can bring it later, right? So that was mission accomplished in that sense. Then she realizes that the appellate record, that Stephen's record that was given to his appellate attorneys, or that his appellate attorneys had accumulated, did not contain the pages that showed the state was giving bones back from the Manitowoc County gravel pit. So they didn't show that, and to his attorneys. So that's a problem. So what does she do? She files a motion saying, look, the state's been telling me they have these, but now that we look at these, updated ledger, and we look at the final pages of CASO, pages 1014 and 1015, and we see that the state gave all of these bones back, and yet they've been telling us they have them, and they've been playing games and whatever, and blah, blah, blah. And so what does the Court of Appeals do? The Court of Appeals once again says, okay, we're remanding this back to the circuit court. Okay, no matter what, now the bones are going to be a part of the appeal. Okay, if Judge Suck at this does what Judge Suck at this does best, and she just denies this flatly without even considering it like she has been doing, well, then it just goes right back to the Court of Appeals and becomes part of the appellate record. It becomes more things for her to be able to argue at the Court of Appeals. More very strong arguments. And the fact that Judge Suck at this is just completely denying these one after another with very little consideration and decisions that when you read them, you can totally tell she did not fully understand, it seems, many aspects. So that's where it's at. And so when you see Kathleen Zellner talking about the appellate record becoming a mountain, it's because the state has really screwed up now big time twice by holding onto the CD for 12 years. The first time makes them look bad. And then now this business with the bones, it makes them look bad. And the fact that they were trying to hide it makes them look bad. And so that's where it's kind of at. It's just, I thought KZ was all set for her next filing. She is. Yeah, she is. She's going to be filing like whatever. I think it's going to be Friday. She'll be filing on Friday, I believe, and that will be her motion in the circuit court to Judge Suck at this, and then we'll see what Judge Suck does. Based upon past bad faith, withholding the discovery. Hi everyone, it's 1 a.m. here in the UK, so sadly I can't stay up. I can't stay as up early. Just popped on for support. Thanks, Sharon. Yes, I'm not shouting. Oh, I get it now. LOL, about time. Hi everybody. What's up? What's up, Dirk? Shell, right? Yes. Let's see here. Good to see everyone. If the Earth is indeed round, then why don't the stars look like streaks in the sky? Sorry, wrong channel. This judge needs to go. Erekose just turning in. Did I miss anything? Oh, tuning in. You missed me explaining what's going on with Stephen's case right now again for probably the 100th time. But I don't know. Let's see. What's up, Dirk? Hello, everyone. Hello, everyone. Good God, us. There's no end to the lies. Let's see here. Sign the petition to give Judge Suck the boot. Thanks, Denise. How many times do they allow this before KZ would get a trial or at least her motions heard? Okay, so Linda, what's happening is she's gonna get her everything she's gonna has to say is gonna get heard. Okay, she's gonna file a motion right now with the circuit court, and we'll see what Judge Suck does. But she may ask for a response from the state, and then in which case we'll most likely get a reply from Zellner to the state's response, and then all of that stuff will be considered by Judge Suck, and she will possibly surprise us all and order an evidentiary hearing, or she will do what she's been doing and she will just flatly deny it. Either way, I'll put it this way. If she grants a hearing, then Zellner's getting heard about the bones. She won't really be able to argue a bunch of her, a lot of other things she won't be able to argue, and she won't be able to argue anything new, but she'll be able to get into an evidentiary hearing, and she'll be able to argue about the bones, and she'll be able to get like Tom Fallon gone on the stand, and she'll be able to question those guys. And so that's what's going to be interesting about it. So that's what's happened. That's she's going to get heard if there is an evidentiary hearing. If there isn't an evidentiary hearing and it just all gets sent right back to the Court of Appeals, then she's going to get heard by the Court of Appeals. Her arguments are going to get heard by the Court of Appeals. Eventually. Should be Monday. Okay, so maybe Monday that she files, folks. She may file on Friday anyway. Who knows? The bone thing is the only thing she can't talk about or not. In the evidentiary hearing, Linda, she will only be able to talk about the bone issue. So she won't be able to go talking about how questionable the blood in the RAV4 is, because that's not going to pertain to the bones in Manitowoc County gravel pit, right? You understand what I mean? So you can only argue what's relevant to the bones. So that's what I mean by other certain issues she won't be able to touch in the evidentiary hearing, but she will be able to argue about those bones all day long. I actually believe keeping Judge Suck is a blessing. She keeps screwing up, and it just makes it look a lot worse. I think it actually helps. Yeah, that's actually a good point, Go Mean Green. I mean, Judge Suck is creating a spectacle with just continuing to deny these things the way she does. Hey, Todd. Hey, Amber. Judge, suck at this. Let's see. So glad I can be here for the second time. Still fresh to all this. Hi, Jocelyn. I'm just talking about the current issue in Steve's case and what's going on right now with the remand to the circuit court and trying to explain it. Seems like KK needed the bus driver to say she saw TH at 3:30 p.m. so they could place Brendan Dassey at SA trailer. The time is 1 hour off from the real timeline. And yeah, that's always been true. Anyone have a link to any awesome free Avery Brendan shirts? Yeah, Jocelyn, the family has a website where you can go and buy Avery merchandise, various shirts and sweaters, bumper stickers, and various stuff like that. So many new faces here. They can't and won't be able to keep dragging this on and on. Thank you, Sharon. Can't wait till Mike gets questioned. Erekose, what is your stance on your opinion of who did it? Go as deep as you want, please. Well, the problem is I think it could have been a couple different people, and one of those people I don't even know who they are because the investigation was that poor. This is one thing I try to hammer home for people. It's hard to know what happened. It's difficult to know what happened. All you can do is find the evidence that continues to make what the prosecution came up with a complete ridiculous farce. That's really the best thing we can do. But if you want my honest opinion, it could be, potentially 3 different possible parties. It could be, as Zellner has it right now, that Bobby and Scott did this together. And if that were the case, them being the avid hunters that they are and stuff, and they know how to, they've gutted, they've had to skin an animal and do all those things, right? And hang it and, to cure it and all those sort of things, right? So they've had to, cut an animal up and cut bone and use tools to do these sort of things, right? And so they have experience with that sort of thing, and that would explain why. That's a potential explanation of why we see saw marks on the bones in the Manitowoc County gravel pit. Is somebody who was experienced with taking apart animal carcasses and that sort of thing when hunting. So that's one possible explanation. The other one is Ryan Hillegas, and I encourage everybody to go check out Obi-Wan Kenobi on Twitter, because he did a thread yesterday morning where he just went through all the reasons why Ryan Hillegas is just a mess and why he thinks Ryan Hillegas is the guy. And I think there's a strong argument for it. I really do. Look at all the fishy crap with him. How the hell does one person end up having so much fishy, shady looking crap around them? It's just beyond insane. Basically, it's just totally whack. And you got all these things that circle around Ryan. So there's sufficient, even though Zellner says that he's just that she thinks he's just part of the planting now or whatever. Well, I don't know, because I don't I don't really agree with Zellner at this point in time about her claim that she doesn't believe that law enforcement would have been involved in the planting of the blood. I still believe law enforcement could have been and probably was involved in the planting of the blood in the RAV. It would explain why there's such a tiny amount, first off, in odd places, okay? But tiny amount, and then there's flakes, okay? Like they were desperately trying to scrape up Stephen's blood around that yard from his garage, from places, where, because I guarantee you, Stephen cut himself and bled around there all the time. I know there was a report where there was an actual report saying that I believe it was Remaker was actually trying to reliquefy some blood. I know that Link and Colburn had the forensic kits that contained the proper type of like spring water or something like that, distilled water or whatever it was. Maybe not distilled, whatever it was. There's a special type of water you're supposed to use to reliquefy blood to where it reliquefies properly in a way that it doesn't like destroy the cells and that sort of stuff, right? So those two had that in their kits. So for me, I can't jump on board with how sure Zellner is that that Mantowoc or whoever couldn't have been involved in the planting of the blood. For me, it would explain why there's so tiny of an amount and why there's flakes. But I equally see the merit in, Zellner's theory about the bathroom sink, because that would also explain flakes. And, so that one also goes a long way to explaining things. So it doesn't matter how the blood got there, but for me, it's obvious there's so little of it, and there's flakes. They end up finding flakes that just screams to me that somebody was desperately trying to scrape up as much of Stephen's blood as they possibly could, and they weren't able to get much. In fact, had to squiggle it on with a Q-tip because they couldn't get it to drip anymore, so they had to smear it on with a Q-tip over by the ignition. That's my opinion, but it kind of fits. It really does. And so like I said, I am not in full agreement with Zellner on that. I believe law enforcement could have planted the blood. And because I believe that, it opens me up to the Ryan theory still being fully valid, and it opens me up to the one more suspect I have, which is the person who was calling and harassing Teresa by phone. And it wasn't Stephen Avery. God, I hate it when there's some person who says that. There's no proof. Okay? No proof of that Stephen Avery was calling her and harassing her. Somebody was, though, because Tom Pierce clearly remembers it. Her mentor, the person she shared a photography studio with, Tom Pierce, he remembers her getting harassing phone calls and her being very visibly disturbed and him being concerned about her and these calls that she was getting, right? So who is that? Now, some people have said that's Ryan. That's Ryan doing that. Okay. Could be Ryan. I don't know, but it could be. Or it could be somebody we don't know. Somebody that had a thing for Teresa. Think about it. It's disturbing behavior when you have somebody who is like calling, when you're calling when you're calling a girl and harassing her in a way like the way that Tom Pierce describes. You're kind of a disturbed individual if that kind of behavior just seems okay to you, right? So, obviously we're dealing with somebody who wasn't quite, I don't know, completely mentally and emotionally happy and healthy. So whoever that person is, and as I've said, there are those who say it's Ryan. It could be, not saying it isn't, but I'm also open to the possibility that it could be somebody that we have not heard their name. It could totally be somebody whose name we do not know or haven't heard as of yet in the name or anything like that. So I hope you find that answer satisfying enough, because what everybody needs to remember in this is that This investigation was such a turd. It was such a piece of crap that it's hard for us to discern and be able to tell what happened in a lot of ways. It's all muddied and unclear because the investigation was biased and imperfect from the word go. Right? All right. Okay, so I hope that covered it. Bobby and covered. I just like the legal stuff now because that is all we can go by now. They do not listen to things unless maybe they can. I have another live stream next week. Stacy Seabrook. I may have another live stream next week. Just me doing about half of my tunes. Still trying to work things out at James Kaysen. So there you go, folks. Might have a live performance from Stacy next week. Bobby and Colburn were secret lovers pulling their crats. Yeah. Okay. However, would Coos be smarter? Plant blood everywhere in the RAV4 instead of in random idiot parts of the car? He did call from a blocked number, and Dassey number was given. The dude or the wife of the dude Teresa was having an affair with. Potentially, yeah, could be the Brad Check is who you're talking about, by the way. Could be his wife. Great looking at it. Casey revealed who the battery comes back to. No, she hasn't yet. Brian was harassing her. Like I said, many people believe that. Charles has a pattern of calling harassing women. Yeah, maybe he was deleting voicemails of him harassing her and obviously had to delete because then he could be a suspect. I mean, that would explain him. That would explain missing voicemails. I mean, that's another thing. And it's like I was just watching part 10 today a little bit while I was surfing Facebook. I was watching part 10 of Making a Murder season 2. And I was rewatching that part where Zellner's going, and now we're starting to uncover this evidence and we're starting to see what really happened here and stuff. And she goes, and things are starting to click together and things are just starting to come together and everything makes sense. Finally, all these things are coming together and making sense. Right. And that's what happens when you start getting at the truth is that you start to find all these really random things that you thought or that seemed so separate suddenly come together when you understand how. And that's what the state never bothered to understand in this is why in the hell is Teresa scattered over all this area? I mean, if it's Avery, then prove why it was Avery. Show how it was Avery. Don't try to deny those bones were there and talk about you can't spend 20 seconds on them and all that crap and try to hide them. I mean, are you kidding? That's not the way to do it anyways. So law enforcement looked in the RAV, noticed that small writing with her name on it in the back of the RAV, but never saw the smear of blood. Right? Another inconsistency, absolutely. I agree. I've been thinking about that for a long time. Bradley Check should have been looked into more. Lots of people should have been looked into more. Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, that's just hands down. You're welcome, On Defense. In Wrecking Crew, Teresa was having an affair with a married man that she did photography for. That's Brad Check. That's the man. Yes. And that is true. She did have an affair with him. To me, the fact that RH called whoever it was at Auto Trader 1 hour after TH been reported missing is the most important piece of evidence. When they looked in the RAV, they stated they saw no indication of harm coming to her, so they didn't see the blood, obviously. Exactly, right? Right? Ryan lied about the finder lights, which in Normal Town, USA, he would become prime suspect because RAV4 wasn't damaged prior to 1031. Let's see. Dassey number was given as it was Barb's van for sale, right? Makes sense. Hello, everyone. It's been a while. Hi, Lindsay. Okay, I'll put something out there. I just read very in-depth theory on the George Zipperer blog spot. He describes there is a YK and a BK behind it with a deep two birds with one stone theory. Doesn't. I've been a juror twice in UK. What the hell happened with the jury? Right? Did they ever look into the text messaging part of TH? She had that package on her phone bill. I've never really heard anything about her texts. I don't think I've ever seen anything about those, so I don't know if she used it. How likely do you think we can get a different judge? Linda, my gut tells me not very likely until the appeal is successful. Then once the appeal judges deem that Judge Sukowitz made manifest errors, at that point they can appoint a new judge. But right now, we're stuck with Judge Suck at this. Make friends with the like button. Does no one think law enforcement had her killed? In my opinion, anyone else killing her down by Avery Salvage Yard and having access to MGP would be way too much of a coincidence. KZ has been ahead of this game the entire time, except knowing about the bones given back. Trust me, she's on top of it. Ryan wanted those VM off there so bad. Please, he didn't know what time of the day it was. Plus, he didn't know what time of the day it was when he last saw her. Absolutely. He couldn't tell Dean if it was light or dark outside the last time he saw her. I mean, it's just like, what the hell? You made my phone freeze up on the laptop now. All right. I must be too sexy for the phone. Anyway, so what writing in back of Rav? I haven't heard about that. I believe there's referring to the page of the day planner. Ryan is a shady character. I can't wait until he talks to Zellner. Right. If SA did it, crime labs should be paying him millions for his expertise in total blood and DNA removal. Exactly. That's one of the many things that cries out in this case. It's like, when you look at the evidence and then you look at the complete lack of evidence of any crime, and you just it becomes obvious that there's some funny business going on. But the hard part is figuring out who and where and what, how all that funny business took place, why and where, and the what fors, essentially, right? That's the hard part to figure out. But it seems pretty clear when you look at it all. The lack of an evidence of a crime scene of what they say happened, and then the suspect nature of pretty much every bit of evidence in this case. Every bit of it has something suspect, and yeah. So anyway, the investigation sucked from the get-go. Yep. Bobby has to be involved. His testimony basically threw his own brother under the bus too. Yeah, Bobby's testimony is a problem, and he most likely wouldn't have been able to testify if Dean and Jerry had been able to offer him as a Denny suspect. He probably wouldn't have been called by the prosecution as a witness. So, it's interesting. Best scenario would be to go back to the appellate court, as even if granted a new trial by the circuit court, he would be found guilty, in my opinion, as people here in Manitowoc still think they are guilty. Sad. I actually think there's maybe a strong cell of people there in the state that just believe he's guilty, and then I think there's probably maybe a less significant, but still maybe a small cell of people who believe he's innocent. And then and I get this from Tracy Struncy because she's there on the ground as well. And then there's just a large group of people who basically just don't care, don't know anything about it, don't care about it, aren't educated on it. It's just not part of their world, essentially. So, as more and more talk is generated about it, the people who don't have an opinion in Wisconsin might end up forming one, and they might form a fair and an honest one because they'll be forming that opinion now instead of previously where the state was just controlling the narrative and controlling everything. Has anyone ever looked up on CCA or CCAP the player who accused another that are deceased? Queso page 1043. What was going on with him in court at the time? And then Willis time served a bunch of charges. I'm not sure what you're referring to, Daisy Lady KLG, so I'm not sure how to answer that. What is next for the case when? Okay. So basically, Nate, motion is due with the circuit court on Monday. That's the next thing. And when? About the bones that were given back to the hall box. We need the appellate court to overturn the conviction and hope that they won't want to retry him because of Casey's evidence to the contrary. I really don't see Stephen getting out without another trial. I got to say, I don't know. My gut tells me that there's going to have to be another trial. Can you tell us how Casey got to see the RAV4 and get the battery? Okay, that was actually a piece of detective work done by a Redditor, and you can find this person on Twitter as well, called Case File Reviewer. They were able to find some pictures in the from the case or whatever, and a picture of the battery. They were able to see the serial number on it or whatever, the ID number on it, and they were able to look it up apparently, and that's how they came up with all this, and where they were able to trace it back to a Manitowoc County yard. So that was done by Case File Reviewer, and it was forwarded along to Zellner. And we know Zellner knows about it because she mentioned it in one of her Q&As. It's not currently part of the record, so I don't know that she's going to be able to argue it, really. I mean, that's going to be the interesting thing. Bobby Dassey testified about the joke of burning the body. How could the judge let that stay where there's clear evidence it was Mike and a different date? Talking about the joke with Steven, and the discrepancies in when Bobby and Mike say it happened and all that stuff is crazy. Yeah. I'm going. Let's see. Erekose and Wrecking Crew. They mentioned the torn jeans found up the road. Do you have any thoughts on these? I haven't been sure what to make of those because, I mean, they well, I don't. See, they found rivets from Daisy Fuente's jeans. That is the jeans that Teresa was, basically believed to wear and reported to wear. And so they found like a portion of the rivets from those jeans in the fire pit, right? Not all. They didn't find the waist button. And trust me, if that was the original burn site, all of those things would have ended up there and they would have been sifted out. So the fact that there's any rivets and any waist buttons missing is a huge red flag saying that that is not the original burn site. But moving on, it would seem that the jeans that she was wearing got burned up. So I'm not really sure what to make of those jeans. Maybe they were just somebody's jeans that got left in a car when their car got towed, and then were like just in a back seat or something, and then over time just got blown out of the car or by, I don't know, or dragged out by an animal or something. I don't know. But maybe they were just from one of the cars in the yard or something. I'm not really sure what to make of those. But like I said, they do have like a lot of rivets and stuff from a pair of jeans that they believe Teresa was wearing. So I think it was photos. I don't believe she had access to the RAB yet. I don't believe she's had access to the RAB yet either. 11th, like, come on, people. Too sexy for my phone. Larry Hilton, there is a law enforcement report about the battery that was never brought up in the first trial. It defines what it was with the numbers on it, etc. KZ looked it up and traced it. Erekose, I hope you do the exclusive Avery Dassey interview when they're both exonerated. Maybe. I don't know if you guys know this, but as a YouTuber, there's a bit of a stigma. The lawyers and some of the people directly involved with the case kind of automatically take a negative attitude of you just because you're a YouTuber, unfortunately. So I'm obviously all for interviewing Stephen and Brendan when they're exonerated, but I won't be surprised if I get snubbed. and like I said, not a big deal. Sharon, let's see. Sharon, we are all looking into jeans at the Wrecking Crew along with a million other things. Would you happen to know if TH was the volleyball coach for her sister's 7th grade team, or would she just help out? Yeah, I'm not sure on the specifics of that. I'm really not sure if she was coaching her sister's team or not, or I think I heard something about her just helping out with that, but no, I can't be certain of any of it. I truly believe there definitely was 2 different Ravs. Yeah, well, many people do. I believe Karen said she helped coach the team. I'm not sure if she were the sole coach or part of a coaching staff. See. Sorry, just trying to. Stupid chat jumps every once in a while. Tried watching videos explaining why SA is guilty, but they are full of lies saying he's a sexual predator. Julie Taylor, I think you are right on they had someone, and I have an idea who it is. look into the accuser on page 1043. His crimes are too coincidental. I say we all just blame Ed Edwards. Hello from Tulsa, Oklahoma. Hi, Paula. I want to see that damn second letter. Why are they hiding it? About the bones connected to the state giveaway, and this bone's connected to etc. Len has a problem with night versus that. Night versus that. Day, too. Len? Does he? All I know is he looks like he's going to get suspended. How do you explain two cadaver dogs hitting on Charles' door, on Charles' door bedroom and clothes on bed? One getting wrong, I understand, but two cadaver dogs are trained with human body parts. Well, Vanessa, I guess what it comes down to there is what were they hitting on? What was swabbed there? Because if they were hitting on something, then they should have been like swabbing or collecting the articles of clothing, and they should have been testing those for DNA. Because what the dogs hit on, the cadaver dogs they're not, okay, let me put it this way. The cadaver dogs don't just have Teresa's scent, and they're looking for Teresa's scent. They are looking for the unique smell of a human body decomposing. Could be any human body, okay? Or matter, or, biological matter from a human body, such as blood, anything else that has a high amount of cells, that kind of stuff in it, or pieces of flesh, that type of stuff. They pick up on the rotting smell. So they didn't have Teresa's scent. So the fact that they hit in the bedroom, in Chuck's bedroom or wherever, if they hit in there and the state didn't bother to test anything, DNA test anything there to find out what they were hitting on, that's just weird. That's weird. Okay, because you have to know what they're hitting on. You have to be able to go and get a DNA sample of something there to know what it is there that was decaying. Because it could be that Chuck cut himself and he had a bloody rag in there. A bloody rag that had been there for a couple of days would have been giving off the proper scent that would have, caught the attention of the cadaver dogs. So it comes down to what was the material in his bedroom that was decomposing and causing the cadaver dogs to hit on it. If that was never determined, that's, once again, bad investigation by the state. Poor. Piss poor. There was a law enforcement report about the battery being different, which was never brought up. I am so glad someone other than me knew that could be done. A Redditor paid $2,300 for Stephen's case files. What's up with the battery? The battery in the RAV it's been determined that it's not the battery that belongs in there. It actually has numbers on it that trace back to apparently one of the Manitowoc County yards. By say yard, I mean where they have vehicles. So, and that's the way Zellner put it, that it goes back to one of the yards in Manitowoc. There was a letter that was found at the post office. That's the Sikkiki letter. Contents, but no actual letter. Let me find it. Okay. KLG, every battery can be traced back to where it was stocked and who bought it. You're talking about a letter other than the Sikkiki letter, right? I think I know what you're talking about then. I think she was killed at the park. Burned so. Okay, give me a minute. I think you briefly talked about it. Come on, pom-pom, let sister. In a retrial, is the state still limited to Fat Kratz's theory only, or can they add more Keystone Cop magic from Narnia? Narnia. I love it. They can argue differently than they did before, but they are going to be tied to the same evidence, essentially. So they can try to change a little bit of their argument, but I mean, the evidence is the evidence. And so, I mean, they can't get too crazy. So basically, it's going to be mainly the same, but yeah, they're probably going to argue some things differently this time. Burn somewhere else with a prearranged plan to set up Stephen Avery. Absolutely. Sorry, but I wouldn't pay $23 for any case files, let alone $2,300. Yeah, Ziggy, true about the battery, but like Erekose and KZ can only really bring up stuff from original trial. Face still on my phone. It won't shut off. Only in the appeal, if she gets a new trial, she can talk about everything. Right. A new trial, then she can really bring up everything. Absolutely. The battery, Erekose just said someone was able to trace it to a Manitowoc yard. Yeah, but it traces back to a Manitowoc County yard. It was the warranty information on the battery traced back to a Manitowoc County yard, a fleet. Don't know which fleet, but it traced back to one in Manitowoc County. Thank you, Sharon. You're so sweet. Why is Len getting suspended? Because he's a jerk and a jackass? I mean, is that not a good enough reason? I don't know. Anyway, there's more people here in Manitowoc County that believe they are innocent than people that think. Yeah, like I said, when I was there, I was getting approached by a lot of young couples who believed that they were innocent. Does anyone know how long before 10/31/05 that battery was purchased in Manitowoc? I don't know the specific date. I thought there were two types of dogs used. There was also scent hounds used, and the scent hounds were given Teresa's scent. So they were only hitting on anything where they smelled Teresa. Okay? It's just different with cadaver dogs. Cadaver dogs work differently than scent dogs. I mean, even though they're both smelling, it's different because the scent dogs are given something that has Teresa's scent on it, and they smell that, and they make sure they understand that, and then they go find more areas that smell like that, right? But with cadaver dogs, they aren't given a specific. They aren't given what Teresa smells like dying, or they aren't given what Teresa's body smells like decomposing. The dog just the way cadaver dogs work is that they sniff out rotting flesh or rotting biological material. Even blood, just blood is enough. That's why cadaver dog Brutus hit on the RAV4, because there was blood on the outside of it and stuff like that. So that's why, right? So the cadaver dogs just work different. What they're smelling is they are sniffing for decomposing biological matter. Whereas scent dogs are given the living scent of a person, and they try to track that person while alive, or what they did while alive. So they're tracking the trail of the person while alive, because that's the scent they would have. The scent they would have while alive is the scent that they give the bloodhounds or the scent tracking dogs. Anyways, hope that makes it more understandable. Let's see, is the state limited to the theory from the original trial, or can they add more planted evidence from Narnia? They will have the opportunity, I believe, to be able to develop their own evidence if it comes to retrial. So I think that's the answer to your question there, Scott. I haven't forgotten. I'm ready for you to buy me some Zuppa Toscana. I have a cocker spaniel that would sniff out pot and money. She once stole 300 from my friend at my house. LOL, she burned it in my covers. She buried it in my covers. Vote, make it your state, and have something to say only by voting. Absolutely. Hey, Jerdog. Let's see. Dave Howard. So glad to hear that. I love Wisconsin. I would hate to think people would be that close minded. There's just much to ignore. I know, actually, and I gotta say, when I was there, Wisconsin is a pretty great. It's a pretty cool place. I mean, it was nice. It was the people were really pretty cool and friendly, and I just it was pleasant. It was cool. So I mean, it's not a bad place. It has some issues. It has some things that we all want to see change, but but it's still a pretty good place, and there's still some people there that are really quality folks. Did you get any sleep today? Let's see. She came. Oops. She came in the house one day with a 4-foot pop. Nice Dr. Pepper fund for the top YouTube. Dr. Pepper on me, matey. Let's see. I've always thought when they order a retrial, it's brand new. It is. It's a brand new trial. So the state will be able to develop new evidence and bring it. Zellner will be able to develop new evidence and bring it. It's a new trial, right? New trial. It's like going back to the beginning. So yeah, it's like a do-over. You do it over, right? So that's what a retrial is. So Charles was on site, asked when Teresa was coming, has a history of sexual assault and harassing women, stalking them, photography of their homes, so the dogs. Okay, Vanessa, but my point is did they collect DNA swabs and find out what was decaying in Chuck's bedroom? That's my question. If they didn't do that, if they didn't do that, then we're just speculating. It's all speculation. Which is why I talk over and over and over again about why it is such a bad thing that this investigation was so piss poor. It's the most frustrating part about this. I'll just put it out there. I think that Ellie orchestrated it. Thomas J. Bruckert was X and Willis was involved. There, I said it. I'll probably be next now. God. Let's see. Cadaver dogs. They couldn't find the source, is what Handler said. So if body was moved and burnt, we will never know. They couldn't find a source, huh? Cadaver dogs don't hit on nothing. Interesting. I don't know. Maybe we'll look into that a bit. Hit like and subscribe, everybody. Yes, please do. Just got here a few minutes ago. Did you get a chance to ask Erekose your question? If y'all want to review all the evidence, the new Rubber Ducky site is legit. Denise or Pom Pom, can y'all post the link? It's well organized and easy to navigate. Very helpful for sleuthing folks. By the way, as of mid-December, he is serving time in Florida for sexual assault. On a side note, I'm in Dallas, and my Rangers hired your Dodger third base coach as our manager. Get your World Series tickets ready. I used to go every Sunday with my dad to something called 7 Mile Fair in Wisconsin. Anyone know how close that would be to Manitowoc? I wouldn't. One of my cousins had a store there. It's like a flea market and used stuff, like a swap meet. Okay. Casey would kill it in a new trial. You mean the state will get to concoct new evidence? I wouldn't say concoct. They will get to develop new evidence. I'm going to use the word develop. But KZ can ask all the previous idiots questions about what they said, they saw, found, and testified to before, so they have backed into a corner. Oh, and when I say law enforcement orchestrated, mean top dog. I would love to go by Avery Salvage. Is there a blockage to just anyone? Is the business still up? I'm not sure actually, but it's not. You may want to call for an appointment, possibly. Hey everyone, show the like button, some love. The handler was a tool too. You have a brother named. Let's see. Sorry, I really need to go this time. Thanks for a great live. See you later, Sharon. I don't even remember my question, but do remember an Olive Garden bet. 7 Mile Fair is about a half hour from me, and I'm 2 hours from Stephen Avery. 7 Mile Fair is about 1.5 hours. Well, it was more like an opinion, I think, than a question. We're on the South. The question didn't matter. Russell Gatan just wants to have dinner with me. It's all good. 7 Mile Fair is 1.5 hours from SA. Very diplomatic of you and mature. I'm not so mature. I believe they can't change where she was killed, I believe. Well, like I said, the evidence that's there is going to tie them down in certain respects. So it's not like they're going to be able to do drastic changes, but they're going to be able to they'll be able to maybe argue things a little differently is what I'm getting at. So in Casey motion, this is one that has never been one in court recorded anyway. I just realized that Pom Pom and now I think I'm jealous. Oh. Hey, Millbilly. Okay. Nah, just a joke from a heated debate regarding a statute the state violated when they gave the bones back. I figured KZ Def knows it's Ellie. In the Twitter Q&A, she said person who moved bones was killer. Bones aren't usable, are they? They probably. I mean, there's a good chance that they've been contaminated at this point on the fence. So I think that they're unusable most likely, but that'll have to be determined. All things considered, I think she's really close. A free dinner is a free dinner. Do you know how Ma and Pa are doing? When I was there, I know Ma had just had, I think, knee surgery. She was looking like she was recovering pretty well. We all got to go out to a little Italian restaurant there, and it was actually in Calumet. Funny, oddly enough, but this little Italian restaurant that Mama likes, And we went over there, and it was really good. It was delicious, and we got to see a lot of people in there. There was a lot of people that were ordering this big pizza that I almost ordered myself. But I just didn't know if anybody else would help me eat it, so I didn't order it. But it was a lot of fun. It was cool, and yeah, Mama seems to be doing pretty well. I didn't get to see Alan, but I'm going to rectify that this year if I have to grab Mark Hodnott and Paul Capaldi, and we're going to go drive up there and have a beer with Alan, if we, whatever it takes. Anyways. This has been confusing Erekose and Chuck Woolery for a while now. It is. Oh, isn't it? Oh, it isn't my monkey, not my circus. Right. I hope someone who really knows their way around the CCAP checks out Thomas Brucker. They already sealed the other guy who is deceased. Heart goes out to Mom and Pa. I want to see KZ cross-examine Big Hair. Buting Big Hair Colhane. Buting did an okay job. KZ might reduce her to tears, then bring experts out to make her look like the incompetent liar that she is. Yeah, there you go. Oh, you are making it yours. Good to see you, man. Hey, Jamie. But the phone call from Williams, right? For Fallon to KZ, yeah. All right. They're a bunch of geniuses over there. I want to see KZ reduce a lot of the people to tears. I got pretty deeply involved after you checked out this morning. I'm envious. I would love to sit down and have dinner with Ma and Pa. I only got to sit down with Ma, and there was a bunch of us. We ended up getting a really big table, and there was about 20 of us there. I just so happened to be right across the table from Ma, but there was like 20 of us there. We had a big old table. It was interesting. But anyway. Can I put my babies to bed? Great live. Okay, thank you, Jocelyn. Come for the next one. Mm-hmm. Hey there, Pink. How you doing? Highly suggests they are hiding them. Let's see. That's awesome. Any new information coming recently from Barb? As far as I know, no. KZ will be a master. Other than there's this new news from Barb. I found out how I could get you guys bracelets if you want them. So, basically, I'm going to double check with Barb, but basically I believe it is $10 each. And if I don't know how you want to do it, but you can actually send it to Barb and she'll send you a bracelet, I believe. Let me check with Barb one more time just to make sure the logistics on this. If not, I'll just buy a bunch of them for those of you who are interested in them. For those of you who want to know what I'm talking about, this is something I wear every day. I wear it on the job site. It goes with me everywhere. Literally the only time I remove it is when I take a shower. So it literally goes with me everywhere. So that's what I'm talking about. If other people are interested in getting one of these wristbands, I can make that happen. Let me talk to Barb and I'll see if she actually would like for you, if she would like for you guys to send her your addresses and the whatever it is, $10, or if she would prefer me to go ahead and collect it for you. So. Freezing but good. Right on, Pink. The website you posted. I think they have bracelets on that website as well. That's the actual Avery's family website, and that has more of the Avery merchandise. I think there is bracelets on there, but if I don't recall, I think they might just have the "We All Live on Avery Road" bumper stickers. I'm not sure. Oh, it just says justice and freedom for Brendan Dassey. It goes around. So if you look right here, it says justice, right? And then as it goes around, And that word right, this word right here is freedom for Brendan Dassey. So basically it just goes all the way around. It says, justice and freedom for Brendan Dassey. Sorry, there was a heated conversation in Discord this morning involving Pom Pom. I was going to think myself. That's what all the dinner talk is about. No problem. Hey, you guys look like you're having a good time. What am I trying to say? What I am trying to say is this case has never been won in Wisconsin. What do you think she can? What I am trying to say, sorry, Linda, I'm trying to understand what you wrote here. What I am trying to say is this case has never been won in Wisconsin. Which case are we talking about? I'm sorry, Linda. I think I'm getting lost in that comment. I don't understand it. Thanks, Erekose. Post a link to Discord to purchase bracelets, maybe. It's waterproof. It's like rubber. Yeah, it's made out of like rubber. So it's kind of almost like a rubber band. You see? So but yes, it is waterproof, but I prefer not to get soap and all kinds of that all over it, so I take it off when I take a shower. As soon as the info is confirmed, we will get it posted in Discord. Is there an I am the prize bracelet? Avery Salvage merchandise. Oh, yeah. So they don't have the bracelets. Sorry. But that's the Avery Salvage merchandise. That's where you can get Avery Salvage Yard sweaters, T-shirts. We All Live on Avery Road shirts. I think even the We All Live on Avery Road sweaters, bumper stickers. And they got a fair amount of merchandise over there on that website you can get. I got a couple of the bumper stickers, and I got my own Avery Road T-shirt. We All Live on Avery Road T-shirt. So. We could sell disingenuosity bracelets at the rally in front of the courthouse. Yeah. Disingenuosity Manitowoc style. That's what they got to say. See, do you know if the hype is dying out, or do the Averys put up with a lot of press and interviews still? They even when it was like kind of lulled, like say right before MAM2 was released, like even then the yard gets a lot of visits, and it's it's not, I mean, this is why I say, if you're going there, make sure you're going for official business, because they get bugged by a lot of people, and because people know who they are. Let me just tell you guys, me personally, when I went to Manitowoc, I asked Carla Chase if I could go to the salvage yard, and I told her I wanted to take some footage and stuff, and so she made fun of me and said, "Oh, you want to do the walk of Pam or whatever?" Because somebody else did that back in the days, right after MAM1 came out, and I said, "No, I want to do the walk of Cadaver Dog Brutus." As a matter of fact, anyways, but I asked her and got permission from her, and if you are looking to do that, I would say wait till rally time and wait, because usually Carla is pretty cool, and she will sometimes take a group of people over to the yard. And really, if you're going to go, that's the way you want to go, because you want to do it in a way that, is welcome. Just understand they're people too. They want their right to privacy. They don't want to be bothered at all hours of, at all times. They want to have somewhat of a quiet kind of, life. You know what I mean? Anyway, so I would encourage you to try to get permission before you go up to the salvage yard. Can nothing more be argued about Brendan's confession because final ruling was made? I don't know. I don't really know what to say to you, Julie. Yes, there's going to be more with Brendan's case. I don't know what shape it's going to take yet. Yes, he is facing a bit of a problem because there is no physical evidence in his case, and so there are some issues that Brendan's facing. But I just think that no matter what went down with Brendan is not going to stand the test of time. I don't know exactly what shape it's going to take yet, but disingenuosity free bracelets, that's a good idea. No media attention here in Wisconsin, none. The state giving the bones back. What I'm trying to say is this case has never been won in Wisconsin. In my opinion, what do you think she can? Is the case never won? I think I'm misunderstanding some of your wording, Linda, and it's making it hard for me to understand, and I don't want to waste the time right now during a live, so let's do it in Discord afterward. I agree. No comment on voicemail. Wait, no comment on voicemail, nothing? What does that mean? No comment. I don't know what that means. Okay. Teacher stabbed a schoolgirl 45 times, got life in prison. 15 years later, he is out living with parents in my suburb, and I thought USA laws were lax. Hi, Erekose. How are you, buddy? Hey, Jerome. How's it going, buddy? Oh, are you sick, buddy? Oh, that sucks. It's not about the hall box. It's not news, sadly. Let's see here. I hope you're feeling better soon. I'm sick, Denise, but I stay strong. Good for you, Jerome. Do you think MAM3 will be waiting till retrial? I don't know. But what I can say is I think you can probably expect to wait at least a year and a half for it. At least. And I think they may wait longer on this one. Personally, but we'll see. Maybe you can go, yeah. Brendan's confession was found to be not coerced. Wrong as that is the final ruling on the matter, but other issues can be brought up. Like I said, Brendan has brilliant lawyers, and if anybody's going to crack it open, they will. Trust me. I have faith in Drizzen and Nyrider. Hell, I'm flying all the way to Australia to see him. Well, I hope, anyway, if my passport ever gets here. But anyway, I just don't understand how Brendan doesn't get the automatic release after Steven is. Well, yeah. Yeah. He's, of course, they're not going to release him. Look at how they fought it. Look at how they fought his release. Of course, they're not going to release him. It's just ridiculous. And that reminds me, there's going to be a lot of explaining to be done. Erekose, have people started turning on their green porch lights for the support of Brendan Steven? I saw something about it in your previous live. We're still talking about it. We're still trying to kind of figure that one out. Somebody had an idea for using a stained glass light bulb, which I thought was actually a pretty cool idea and a pretty good one because it would be pretty distinctive. Hopefully there's not like some thing going on like in the Catholic community or something where they do like stained glass porch bulbs for some certain thing to show their support. Hopefully there's not like something, but I did like the idea of the stained glass being, fairly unique and wouldn't really get confused with emergency lights or warning lights or any other some such thing. So I figured that it might be a good idea. So we're still talking about it though. We're not sure what shape that's taking yet. Erekose gonna get a happy birthday from an awesome YouTuber. Happy birthday, Lindsay. I'm not sure. He has decided on the color for sure. Have KZ given up on Ryan Hilligas? Because all I can say is she says that she thinks that he was only part of the planting. That's what she said in MAM too. So that's all I can say as far as that's what she said. The coerced confession in The Innocent Man reminded me of Brendan's confession, although they're both different. Yeah, it had similar aspects, certainly, I think, Colin. Gotta imagine the crooks are desperately waiting for convicting a murderer to drop so they can give some press conferences and say, see, we're right. Take some pressure off the state now. Yeah. Yeah, that could be. I mean, where is convicting a murderer? Anyway, Jesus. I like the stained glass idea too. Stained glass is perfect. I will look into the stained glass bulbs for us, Erekose. Right on, Go Mean Green. I will post an example of a stained glass one in Discord. They are cool, but not very bright. I will watch Convicting a Murderer just to see how dumb it is. And potentially me. Remember, I think that's the crew that interviewed me when I was at Rally last year. If I didn't hit the cutting room floor, which could be. I mean, there's a possibility, but I'll tell you what, that cameraman and the interviewer, they were pretty excited about what I had to say. They were very interested and very intrigued by what I had to say. And like I said, the guy stopped me and asked me to restart after he fixed my mic because something was wrong with the audio, and he stopped me. I mean, he could have just let me talk. He could have just let me, if they didn't care, right? He could have just let me talk with bad audio. I would have never known, right? But he stopped me so that he could fix the mic because he wanted to get it. So I feel there's a fair chance I'm going to make it in. And I'm going to be talking about Brendan. Got an idea. Kratz, Killgas, Link, and Colburn. Mask for Halloween. Do you have seen my video presentation about the French crew on Hangouts? I'm sure Ali had watched it. I ask you that to asking your opinion. Let me go check it out when I get maybe after this live, Jerome. I gotta go over and look at it. I'm not real diligent about checking the Hangouts nowadays, so but I'll go over and check it out. Why did the police not examine Brendan's PlayStation when he mentioned it in his statement? Because they didn't want to know. Well, they may not have realized at that point in time that they were eventually going to be going after Brendan either. So they may not have realized or thought to be wanting to collect any kind of evidence or anything. I'll join y'all later after the live. About to get on a plane. Chickening out on convicting a murderer. Upload a picture of a stained glass bowl. Let's see here. Looking forward to seeing in the Discord. I missed that you were there when they were filming. I'll have to watch it in that case. If you're not on the cut, yeah. If I didn't hit the cutting room floor, like I said, they were very. Like I said, that guy could have let me talk with bad audio. He could have done that. He could have just been like, yeah, whatever, right? So he could have just let me continue talking, and I would have never known, right? But he stopped me, and he was like, I'm really sorry. He was like very apologetic. Very apologetic. And he was like, he had to get the little thing out of my pocket. He had to do some kind of adjustment on the little mic. And then he dropped it back in my pocket and he goes, I'm so sorry, but could you do that again? And I was like, yeah, right on. I went right back to word one and just started over. So, I mean, like I said, dude, he could have just let me talk. And I would have never known that the audio was bad, but he wanted to get that audio corrected. So I don't know. I use that as an indicator. I feel there's a good chance I may make it into convicting a murderer. I wasn't from out of country, but hey, maybe I had the right stuff. Who knows? Any words from the Halbach family? Not that I know of. The in-depth theory on the George River explains the behavior of running the family, TP, and pretty much all the players. He uses YK and BK if you want to check it out. Obviously, he was interested in what you had to say. He had to get the little thing out of your pocket. Sorry, I know that's an interview with Steven. He said he was going up north, but something went wrong. So he came back and put Barb's vehicle into Auto Trader. I wonder what went wrong if he wasn't at the salvage yard. Yeah, I'm not sure. He's safe. I'm curious. Sorry. I'm curious if it will be finalized and shown now. He wouldn't have been arrested. Read a post on MAM Group Saturday regarding if Knight Rider questioned Drizzlin. Dassey finds new hope. Very interesting article. Has anyone read it? I think I've heard about it, but I don't think I've read it yet. So, all right. I think we've gone through. We've answered a great deal of questions here. Looks like it's kind of slowed down. I think maybe everybody's wanting to kind of go over and get into Discord and start tossing it around over there in Discord. So, I guess we'll go ahead and kind of wrap it up. Do you have time to make a new video with Dave B? I absolutely can, Jerome. I'll talk to Dave here soon, and we'll see if we can get him on. Yeah, everybody can go over to Discord right now to see the different stained glass light bulbs, and we can talk about that and stuff like that. So, I'm kind of temporarily phasing out the music right now. So, just FYI, kind of just trying to bring it back to Erekose. Absolutely. I know you guys have a lot of questions, and I just was seeing such a huge amount of confusion about what's going on with the Court of Appeals and what's going on back to the circuit court, and what KZ is saying in her tweets, and how people aren't like fully understanding. So, I mean, I felt like there was a need to go ahead and do this, for me to go ahead and try to clear up what I can. So thank you all for showing up, of course, and tuning in and asking questions. I mean, there was a lot of great questions tonight. Thank you all very much. Spectacular questions. So, see what we got here. Thank you for taking the time to answer our questions. It would be great. Thank you so much for your time. You're all so very welcome. Yep. We'll see you guys on Discord. You should play that Erekose news intro as your outro. It's harder for me to do that live, unfortunately. Let me see if I can here.